Hi, it's the end of December. Christmas has been and gone, so it's time to start planning next year's. But I thought I'd go through the 6 books that I've read for the second half of December. And I managed to read 1, 2, 3 from the Caffè Nero Prize. I'm listening to the final one of the fiction shortlist at the moment on Audible. So I'm quite impressed with myself that I managed to read 3. And then I read 3 arcs as well. So the first one I read from the Nero Prize shortlist was, when I get to the right page, The Hypocrite by Jo Hamya. And this is set over the course of one day with flashbacks. And it's a sort of generational divide, a father-daughter relationship. Sophia is a playwright, and she's invited her father to her new play. And so you watch him watching this play. And the play is actually based around a holiday that she had with her father about 10 years previously. Her parents divorced when she was young, so she saw her father intermittently. And this was a holiday that she was going to spend, so excited about spending this time with her father. And the play is all about him. And you watch him realizing that the play is about him. He's almost publicly shamed on stage. He's not got a name. Her mother's not got a name, because in this sort of same day, we've got Sophia and her mother sitting in the theatre restaurant waiting to meet up with her father after the play. So you've got sort of those 2 timelines, and then you've got the flashbacks of this holiday 10 years previously. You feel sympathy for him watching this. I mean, he's not a model dad by any stretch of the imagination, but you do feel sorry for him. And you wonder why she's decided to do it this way, this sort of public shaming. To get his attention? Who knows? Anyway, that was the first one. Then I read an arc that comes out on the 30th of January. And it's The Day of the Roaring by Nina Bhadrashwar. And it's got a really good premise. You've got the severed head of a former headmaster found in a filing cabinet on the site of the school that he used to teach in, that is now being demolished. You've got D.I. Diana Walker. She's in Sheffield for reasons not apparent. She's a black woman come into this police environment in Sheffield, so she suffers from racism and sexism, and she believes that there is something more going on with this murder. But her colleagues think, it's all to do with organised crime. They're sending a message. There are drugs at the school. They're sending a message, but she thinks there's a lot more to it, because we've got lots of threads here. You've got organised crime. You've got drug running. You've got fraud. You've even got female genital mutilation, FGM. You've got a whole list of characters, even her mother's book group. A thread that goes back to 1950s Kenya. There's a lot of dialect, there's a lot of jargon. I felt that there was just too much going on. If we'd have concentrated on maybe 2 or 3 of these strands instead of all of them. And the ending, everything was wrapped up at the ending, but I felt it was just a little bit, the ending was too quick. But that's me. The next one I read was off the Nero Prize list again, and this is Heart Be at Peace by Donal Ryan. And it's a story in 21 voices. You've got 21 voices of inhabitants of this small Irish town, and through their voices you learn about life of the town. They're all interconnected. Everybody knows. It's one of these towns where everybody knows everybody else and everybody knows everybody's business. You know, it's a very insular place almost. You've got, but at the heart of this little town, there's a drug problem. There's dealers. You've also got love and marriage, friendship, betrayal, success, failure. But at the heart of it, you've got this trickle of drug dealers. I knew something was going to happen. I mean, you get the idea that there was something going to be happening, but I wasn't sure. I didn't expect what happened to happen, if you see what I mean. I knew something was happening. So something would happen to deal with these drug dealers, but I didn't expect it to be in the same way that it did. These 21 voices, you've got male voices and you've got female voices, and the female voices they're on a par with the male voices, and in some instances the females know more about what's going on than the men. Apparently this follows on from his book The Spinning Heart, which has got these people, these same people 10 years previously. But you don't need to have read that to do this. If you've read it, then yeah, you're revisiting characters from 10 years previously. But I hadn't, and I didn't feel that I missed out. And I really enjoyed that one. Then another arc, I'm just doing these in the order that I read them. It comes out on the 30th of January. And this one is a super thriller, The Dark Hours by Amy Jordan. You've got two timelines, 1994, 2024. And you've got a serial killer in 1994, and in 2024, you've got a copycat. 30 years between them. Julia Hart is a retired Garda detective, set in Ireland again. And she lives in a secluded area. She's retired, she's taken herself off to a very quiet place with her dog Mutt. She is haunted by this serial killer from the 1994 that she helped to catch. And it had a huge impact on her, and it cost her a lot. And so when she finds out, hears that he's died in prison, a wave of relief sweeps over her until she gets a call from her old boss telling her that there's murders gone on that look as though they've been reading his playbook, exact copies of the murders he carried on. So she goes with her boss back to Cork to advise the current team, to sort of give them insight, because they dealt with this guy in 1994 and they think that their insight might help catch whoever's doing this now in 2024. The 1994 timeline, you see the cost to Julia, and you have got tension in both timelines. I really enjoyed that one. Then the third one from the Caffè Nero Prize, I listened to on Audible, and it's Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. Don't ask me what it's about. It's dreamlike, it's a fever dream. Kids are told, don't go to Armonby. Never go to Armonby. That is the thing they're told as they're growing up. But we've got Heather, Rachel and Antonia, all on a car trip to Armonby. Rachel has got to deliver a package. Heather's going along with her because her boyfriend Stephen went to Armonby and never returned, so she's going to look for him. And Antonia, whose car they're in, Rachel knows that Antonia fancies Heather, so of course she's going to go where Heather is. And Armonby's not on the map, and this road trip goes on and on and on. It's a place you're drawn to. You can't see road signs to it. And at the same time, it's almost a perpetual summer. It's summer all the time. And there's ghosts who sort of shuffle around with sticks, and if they meet you, they fight you, or they want to bash your head in. And there's no old people left because they can't outrun the ghosts. The youngsters have great fun evading the ghosts, chasing them, running away. And then when they do get to Almonby, you've got the legend of Green Anne. And an ice cream van that you can hear but not see. It is, you just keep reading because what's going to happen next? It's one of those books, and what's the beginning, the middle, and the end? And it is, it's a really good read. It actually is. You don't know what's happening, but it's a really good read. And then the final one is another arc, comes out on the 30th of January, as all these arcs seem to do. And it's Alice Feeney's new one, Beautiful Ugly. And this is a thriller with so many layers and twists. But then again, I read Daisy Darker, and again, so many layers and twists in that one. So I think this is a thing she does. I haven't only read 2 of her books. I can't comment on her others. And the twist, like the twist in Daisy Darker, I didn't see this twist coming. No idea that this was going to happen. Grady Green is a writer, and he becomes a best-selling novelist in New York. So he phones his wife Amy, who's driving home, to tell her the good news. Hey, I'm a bestseller. And he hears her, while he's on the phone to her, she stops the car because there's something in the road and gets out, and then there's silence. The car's there, but his wife isn't. She's disappeared. And then we move on to a year later, and he's in absolute pieces. He can't write, he's grieving, his money's running out. So his agent sends him to Amberley, to a cottage that she's inherited from another writer that she used to agent. And it's a tiny little Scottish island, and she thinks it will do him the power of good to be away from everybody. And the first thing he sees when he arrives at the island is his wife. Or did he? Can't be, because his wife is presumed dead. But you get a sense of peace and isolation on this island, which is what he wanted. But there's a growing unease because he finds he can't get back to the mainland. The ferry there's no timetable to get him back to the mainland. There's no phone, there's no internet, that he's cut off. And he feels he's being watched. And then there's strange occurrences and the behaviours of the other inhabitants of the island, because there's only 25 of them and they're all women. He's the only man. And the twist, I did feel that the twist asked me to suspend belief a little bit. And I didn't see it coming. A really, really twisty thriller. So, my book of December, I did enjoy the books I read the second half of the month. But I'm going to have to go back to the first half of the month. And it was my 5-star. And it was Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. This book that I think is going to be a children's classic in years to come. I absolutely love the storytelling and the mythical creatures in that. So that is my book of December. I'll be coming back tomorrow, next day. I don't know, it all depends when I get it done. To look back at my reading. Yeah, to look back at my reading in 2025. No, we're not in 2025 yet. My reading life in 2024. And to look at how many books I've read, the successes, the disappointments maybe, and my book of the year. What was my book of the year in 2024? I've not worked it out yet. That's what I'm going to go off and do now. So happy reading. Take care.